Welcome to episode 76 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies, plus tips, apps, and gear. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and here it is. Here he is again, my co-host, Warren Sklar. How you doing, Warren?
I am running around like crazy, but I am doing good. How about you?
Yeah, you and your little app, MacBook Pro, 16-inch sitting there, turning away and making me more jealous.
Quite the adventure at the Apple Store before I came here, so it was.
Yeah, what was that? Go ahead. We could talk about that.
I'll be real quickly. It's basically.
Don't worry about it.
So I know we're getting into Black Friday, Cyber Monday topic already, but the plan was, the official plan was I was going to get my son a new MacBook Pro to replace his 2017, which had some damage but still had Apple Care. So plan was to get that fixed up totally, which they did, and get the full value and trade in, which we're getting the box tomorrow, and then buy him the new Mac Pro. We bought it during Black Friday, Apple, so we got the $200 gift card. The gift card process was not as smooth as I hoped. I didn't pick up the computer until I ordered it on Sunday, and I didn't pick it up till Tuesday. And there was a lot of confusion whether the gift card was going to be emailed 24 hours after you order it or 24 hours after you pick it up. And I chatted with Apple, and I got different answers both ways. But I kept getting these emails saying, we already sent you this gift card in a separate email, which never happened. Anyhow, and so that's half the plan. The other plan was for me to secretly replace the 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro that I bought at Best Buy, return it, and buy the upgraded model from the base. So that was plan number two. So anyways, I get there. Everything's going almost perfectly, except the gift card to pay for the Apple Care on my son's laptop wasn't working, and it kept giving this weird error saying card not activated, and they were stumped. And I'm like, I'm not leaving. God. I am not leaving the store until this is fixed. And the guy called somebody and got it settled, and that's where we ended up. And I walked out of the Apple Store with 3 laptops. The one I had to bring my son's back to get the Apple Care put on because I need to see it. The one that they fixed, and my new 16-inch. So here I am.
This is why we love Warren, because he just buys everything. It's just crazy, and more crazy.
I feel left out if I don't. So that's
well, you feel left out. I feel left out. You have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I don't.
Anyway, you got things. You got stuff.
Yes, I have plenty of things. Yes, I do. So this week we're going to hit some of the news stories. There was a lot of interesting news this week, including T-Mobile's 600 megahertz launch. That's going to be an interesting topic. Black Friday was last week as we record this, and see our what we bought and what we can't share because someone might be listening and you don't want to give away those gifts, but
of course we're going to talk
about I doubt it. But and then we got some tips this week as we always do. We're gonna actually hit some Apple Watch tips. Every tip, every 20 tips that every Apple Watch owner should know, and some other things, as well as we're going to wrap things up. We have instead of doing our own apps, we're going to actually talk about the best of 2019. And others. So let's dig right in here and let's hit the news. The first one that caught my eye was the House passes a bill that would require carriers to offer free robocall blocking features. I find that to be fascinating because a lot of these carriers are already doing it on their own without being told they have to do it. But there is a bill that's sitting out in Congress with the U.S. House of Representatives. They just nearly unanimously passed that would punish robocallers and require the carriers to have better tools for consumers. Amen to that. Apple has already built in that feature with the unknown callers. You can turn that on and stop it from calling. What did you think about this?
I'm in for it too. Whatever's going to stop some of these calls. It's still not as bad as my landline, which I decided not to pick up anymore. But I kind of feel a little weird that they're making the carriers it has to be a law against it. It's almost like saying, there has to be some kind of law that, postmen can't deliver junk mail, and you can't really force them to do that either. I don't feel it's their responsibility. They didn't cause this problem.
No,
they're not doing anything that would, as far as I know, that would make the problem happen. It's good that they're going to do it, and I think most of them, as you said, we're doing it anyways. I know T-Mobile has their one that comes with the plan, and I think they all have a free one at this point.
They have a free, not so good. Actually, you know what? Me being a T-Mobile subscriber, they actually have very good blocking, because for the most part, I haven't gotten a lot of robocalls lately, except the latest one is the Social Security number has been suspended. I love that one. That's my favorite one. Well, that one, and of course we like the Microsoft calls, but
that one,
because
I don't know if your phone does it. I'm sure it does, but a lot of times it will say spam likely or scam likely if you're getting that. So that it's not perfect too. I've answered a spam likely
by no means.
That's been legitimate. So it's not perfect, and that's the other thing about trying to make these carriers do it. I honestly don't think it's possible. I think the criminals or the spammers changed their methods so many times that it'd be hard to keep on top of, to be honest with you. So
but let's be glad that they've added this because I am sure, as many of you out there listening, cannot stand these gosh darn robocallers, and this is going to make a big, huge difference. So check it out. Make sure you have it turned on your phone. So it's important. So next story was T-Mobile actually earlier this week, as we record this, is launching the 600 megahertz 5G across the USA. And this is from The Verge. But no one can use it until December 6th, which actually is tomorrow, as we record this. Mm-hmm. But T-Mobile has flipped the switch to a 5G network and is supposedly going to cover 200 million people. Okay. The problem is there's no phones out there that can use the 5G.
Right.
iPhones won't be ready. The new iPhones already, which are rumoring, I try not to talk too much about rumors here, but there's already rumoring about 4 or 5 new iPhone models will be coming out. We'll be talking about that as it gets closer, but T-Mobile is not claiming nationwide offerings as far as 5G goes. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. The good thing about the 600 megahertz band is obviously no one's using it, so you're going to get some nice clear calls. But right now there's only 2 phones that T-Mobile is going to be able to be selling, and that's the One Plus model and the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, I guess. But big money for both, $900 and $1,300 respectively with those. And it's going to work with T-Mobile and Metro. Surprisingly, it's not working with Mint. Mint is a T-Mobile MVNO, so interesting to see that you don't see that on there. But I'd be curious to see if that happens as well. What do you think?
I think for sure what's going to happen is T-Mobile will come up with a hotspot in the new year, which I'd be kind of interested in playing with. They'll probably sell it. It'll probably be a free device that you have to buy a plan for, like before, and try to get the 5G speeds out over Wi-Fi over their device. But it's not full 5G, right? It's a little different. So I'm not even sure. So the way I understand it is it's not as fast as 5G, but it's got better range, so it could cover more areas. It has kind of how they did it, sort of like 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth over 5. Yeah, kind of the same thing. So I think my real thought is Apple probably should have released a 5G iPhone this year.
You would have thought so.
I would think so too. But it's running out slow, and if it doesn't cost too much money, I'm people are like, oh, we don't need it. We don't need 5G. I'm like, who doesn't want faster speeds of things. I mean, you know, why would you not want that? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be interesting. And then the spin on to this other story, it was on Apple Insider. Qualcomm working to deliver 5G iPhone as fast as we can. Qualcomm's president, Cristiano Amon, on Wednesday of this past week, he said that chipmaker is hard at work on a 5G modem solution for Apple's iPhone. It's their first major project in a renewed partnership with the companies that was struck in April, because I know there was some rough waters between Apple and Qualcomm for quite a while. But this is interesting to see because, like I just mentioned, there are rumors. I think they've been talking about 4 or 5 different iPhone models, which is kind of interesting to see if that really comes to fruition. But we'll see. What'd you think of this?
I don't think they're going to come out with that many models. They say that every year, and then ends up doing 2 or 3. So
like 2.
I think the rumor was basically the rumor saying that only the Pro level will have the 5G Qualcomm modem in it, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think, you know, there's one thing not having a great screen compared to another screen on an iPhone. There's one thing to have just a total slower phone in that sense. So I don't think they would do that. But as I said in the last piece, I think they kind of missed an opportunity. I think a lot of people held off on buying the 11s this year because of the lack of 5G on it.
Right. Yep. So, not much else to talk about that. More to come with 5G. We'll definitely be talking about here on the show in the future. It's going to be interesting to see where that technology goes. Other story caught my eye was on 9 to 5 Mac. Apple News launched a daily email newsletter. I was kind of like surprised. You know, Apple News was the big hoo-ha about the Apple News, and I talked about it at great length when it came out back in March with News Plus. News Plus is a little steep in price. You know, $9.99 to subscribe, and you get 300 magazines, and I just didn't find it of much interest, so I discontinued my subscription with that. So I thought I would keep it for a while, but you can't subscribe to everything to Apple, even though we are Apple freaks. You just can't. But I'm impressed to see what Apple did with this newsletter. I don't know if you subscribe to it, but it does give expanding its notifications, which basically was going to be as a good morning daily newsletter, where you could opt in or out as far as alerts. So what it's going to do is bring a lot more top news analysis and some features every morning, which was kind of neat. It's actually a nice little newsletter. Do you receive it?
I don't even know how to get it. I'm looking at my News Plus app right now, and I don't see how to subscribe it.
You can go into your Apple ID and then you log in. It says it in this article at the very bottom.
Oh, okay.
If you want to, you can actually opt in or opt out to the newsletter emails. But it's a nice little good morning briefing as far as news goes. So Apple really is all in. Wants to get people to look at all the news. Apple does say, you know, this is quoting from Apple saying that Apple News is the most popular news app on the iPhone. But publishers are generally reporting strong page views numbers from the app, but are struggling to monetize their audience with advertising. And there's no surprise there because it is a little steep. $10 a month for a lot of this information you can get for free usually, which are pretty much offering with this newsletter.
Luckily, my wife wants to get the Wall Street Journal, and she was getting it through a subscription through them, which was actually more expensive than Apple News Plus. So, for us, it makes sense. Although I think according to my wife, it's more of a watered down version of the Wall Street Journal. It is.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show back in March when it first was released. And of course, our favorite person would be to follow is the technology columnist Joanna Stern. And you have to seek her out at great lengths to find any of her articles on News Plus. They aren't readily giving shortcuts to it. I'll tell you that. So it just comes in the feed, which is the Apple News feed. So but if you're hardcore like your wife, if she wants to have all the news about Wall Street Journal, then you need to subscribe. And I think Wall Street Journal did that on purpose. They don't want people to start not subscribing, because Wall Street Journal, let's face it, it's expensive. I mean, it's a yearly subscription, It's a couple $100 a year, but if it's for someone in business, it's important.
She doesn't seem to be jumping off Apple News. I think she's happy with the content. So I think she has enough content in the Apple News Plus to keep her happy, which is fine. But to be honest with you, if we canceled it tomorrow, I wouldn't really care. I thought I would read, I used to live in London, and London had a bunch of tech magazines that we don't get here that I liked.
I love them.
Yeah, so there's T3 and stuff were two of them. Out in London. Yeah. So I used to love them.
Mac format.
Yeah. So I would so I got them. I actually got them on my News Plus subscription, but I've never I just never go in there anymore. So so it's not a big deal.
So you guys are subscribing still?
Yeah. I mean, we're subscribing to the Apple News Plus, and then I got T3. Yep, I got my T3, I got my Mac format, I got all the things that you can't get here. So if you're into that kind of stuff, it's worth it. But otherwise, maybe not.
Funny you say that, because I've become obsessed with these magazines, because I like to read them. I Create, Mac Format. They have iPad User Magazine, iPad and iPhone User. Those are all UK based. Yeah. Even Mac Life, which is a UK based company. They're out there as well. So they've got some great magazines. So that itself could be a good reason. Mac Format, and all these magazines talk about iOS stuff too. So that's what's great about them. But and they talk a lot more in depth than most places I've seen cover it.
And technology in general. Check out Stuff and T3. They're very cool magazines. But again, I lived in London before iPads. So and being able to get all the news on the internet. So magazines were the way to go.
More things I learned about you. I did not know you lived in London at one point.
Twice, yeah.
Last story we had is, I saw it and I didn't put it in there, but I'm glad you put it in there, is BMW reverses decision to charge for CarPlay. Huh?
Yeah.
Mac Rumors put this story out there yesterday. I can't believe, first off, who in their right mind? I mean, well, let's consider the source, BMW. Mm-hmm. All right, anybody who owns a BMW is generally going to have be a high income, and I guess they wouldn't mind. They'll be fine with paying for it. Honestly, if my Dodge Charger had the option to pay for it, I would be paying for it in a heartbeat, because if there's any way I could get it upgraded without me having to buy a new car yet, I'd be thrilled to death, but there's nothing out there to do it. But I'm sure they did get a lot of negative sentiment over the subscription charges. So I guess BMW has reversed course and changed their plans, and now it's going to be included with every car.
Exactly. They did get a lot of people, complaining on the forums and complaining to social media. I thought it was kind of a stupid move. Obviously, there's more expensive cars than BMW that give you CarPlay for free. My wife and I both bought our cars around the same time. She has a BMW, and hers is a model right before CarPlay came. And same with mine. So, I'm in your boat. I love my car. It's a nice car, but I'd probably trade it in for like a Chevy, cheap Chevy if I had CarPlay in it. But I don't know if that's the smartest thing. CarPlay is great. It works great. I love the idea of it. So,
I think I recall we've talked about it on a previous show, and your son has a Chevy, and he gets to enjoy CarPlay.
He does. He has a Chevy Equinox, and his came with the CarPlay, and he loves it. And it's a little bit safer than, I think, not having it, because it's by design. It keeps you from trying not to use your phone. I think that's actually what it's intended to do, which is great. And again, I look at it and it looks great. Then I look at my Audi and I'm like, this is terrible. I hate this. I hate this entertainment system, the MMI.
So check that out. That was in Mac Rumors. So let's move on to our topics for this week. First off, it of course was Black Friday and Cyber Monday the last week here in the U.S. and around the world, I guess you would say. And do they do Black Friday, Cyber Monday in London as well?
They started doing it. They started probably about 10 years ago, and I kind of remember them starting when I lived there. It was Black Friday came first, and then they didn't do Cyber Monday, and neither did we, but then they started after that too. Of course, the day after Thanksgiving doesn't mean anything to them over there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Thanksgiving doesn't mean anything.
Thanksgiving is a regular day to them, so.
Pretty much, yeah. So, but they did start doing it when I was there. And I remember kind of buying some fun things, but go ahead.
No, but I guess what we wanted to talk about is, did you buy anything?
Well, I bought everything.
Because I know you do. You're good at that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Other than the two laptops, the two MacBooks I bought, my wife, I got her one of the Dyson hair dryers that I found a sale on that she always wanted. That circular mini hair dryer thing, and a couple other knickknacks from Amazon on Cyber Monday. Were nothing major. All their Echoes and all their devices were on sale. I didn't see a ton of iOS or iPhone, iPad, other than cases and a lot of other things that were on sale. I got a USB-C flash drive that was on sale from Amazon. 128 gigs SanDisk. It was like $30, so that's not bad.
All right.
Yeah, that was my splurge.
Right. Well, actually, I bought an additional the SanDisk 1 gig Extreme, the drive I showed you before. I had already one. They discounted it to $124. So it was. So that's good. And that was one that works with the iPad Pro and any iPads with USB-C. So
cool.
Cyber Monday, I didn't see anything real too exciting, but all the retailers seemed to be happy. Amazon, of course, sold things like crazy, and there was a lot of sales in the billions. From I remember, I can't quote the numbers, but
every year they say it's more.
In fact, the mic I'm talking to you on, I bought that around the Black Friday time. Actually, I had to order it. So Guitar Center, all of a sudden I've become a prime customer at Guitar Center. In fact, so much so, I mean, their emails were getting crazy. You buy something and they send emails like I swear to God, it's like every 5 minutes.
It's crazy. I get the same ones.
Guys, I'm sorry. I have to unsubscribe. I mean, I bought my Rodecaster Pro for production, and then I bought this mic, the pod mic, which is great. And, so I got some headphones coming, looking for some studio headphones. So I bought a few things, nothing, but I didn't go too crazy. Nothing, anything related to what we talk about here is, because we all already have our iPhones and we already have our iPads. So, and nothing really new in that world. I mean, they were selling the Apple Watch for like dirt cheap. I mean, it was, I think I saw a watch for $330, $340 for a Series 4. And $360 for like a Series 5. Yep. So there were some really good deals on that. And then the low end iPad, I think the 7th gen, I think I saw it as cheap as $279, which is pretty amazing for a 10.2 inch screen. So
I think even still today, the iPad I saw today the iPad Pro is still around $600 for the 11 inch for something 32 gig. So I mean they're still trickling on here and there. For some of them, some of the sales, but I mean, again, my family doesn't need any more iPads or phones or anything like that, so we're good there.
No.
The AirPod Pro, my wife's going to get me. I don't know if I told you, but that's going under the tree. That's a story in itself because we agreed to buy each other something. And those exact ones. So
I'm loving these, man.
So we were in Portland for vacation, and there's a big mall over there. And my wife says
I've been there.
My wife says she's going to buy me the headphones, and I'm like, you probably should, if you want to get them to me, for Christmas, you should probably get them because the store has them. I'll just get them later. And I'm checking stock everywhere, and I could see that that's like the only store. There's no store even close to me that has them. So now Best Buy doesn't have them in stock. Amazon. So I'm like, oh, told you. So whatever.
Well, so, I ended up buying some for the wife, and I found them at Costco, and they were less than the list price. So
nice.
I paid basically I paid for the sales tax. So with the discount. So, but I found them, and they actually came today. So I got to wrap them up and have. She's going to be happy.
The pros.
The pros, so of course, yeah.
Nice.
Like a lot of people, she has trouble with the ears. That the regular AirPods would just not stay in her ear; they would fall out. So now with these, with the rubber connectors on them, so you can have different sizes for your ear. They work great. So, but if any of you have any ideas what you bought for Black Friday or Cyber Monday, let us know. You send us email at feedback@intouchwithios.com. I'd be interested to hear any of your iOS and iPad or iPod or anything that you got that you bought for gifts. And I promise I won't spoil it.
and then after Christmas, we could reveal what we all got and see how it worked out.
Shout out to my friend Steven Ramirez in Saratoga Springs. He always is sending me emails. I love it. He's a great guy. He's part of the Apple user group out there, and I've met him at Macstock. He went to the Manhattan Apple store and did a tour of the store. Sent me some pictures, and they really did a great job remodeling that place. But the store that intrigues me the most that he went to, as you probably can guess, is B&H Photo. I don't know if you've been there before, but that store is just insane. I think it takes up like a whole city block. It's so huge.
We went, and they were closed because it was actually a Jewish holiday.
Jewish holiday, right? Yeah. They are closed on Jewish holidays because they are Jewish.
They are Jewish, but they are. I mean, they have the sales.
They have the sales and they have the stock. You could always if they don't have it, it's like kind of our local liquor company store that's here at Binny's Beverage Depot that says if we don't have it, it isn't worth drinking. If B&H Photo doesn't have it, then it must not be worth buying because they basically have everything, anything electronics.
They have that, and they also have no sales tax for some states, at least for us.
Some states, most. Most you have to do it now because they've changed the laws with the advent of Amazon and people not paying sales tax on Amazon if they're out of state. Right. So I think they have a way around it by getting this credit card or something. But anyway, that's all other topic. Next topic. Since you're the beta guru, we could just talk about beta again because iOS beta 13.3 beta 4 is out, right? It just came out today as we record.
Yep. I put the show notes that there was surprisingly no beta this week and last week, being that it was almost the end of day Thursday, and they never do a Friday release. As soon as I put the notes in, it just dropped. So
you must have been on a psychic wavelength. Hey, we got some new release already. Did you already get it installed? I
put them on the iPad and the iPhone and everything, and can't tell you anything that's different. Looks exactly the same as before. So,
there it is in Mac Rumors. Just put the this afternoon they put an article up. I think it was around 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern today. That they seeded another version, like we said. So it's basically iPad OS. It's iOS for iPhone. It's the tvOS and watchOS all have. So it looks like I'm looking at the Mac Rumors article. It says they've introduced communication limits for screen time, a feature that Apple promised would be out in iOS 13. So it allows parents to control who their children are able to contact during both downtime and during screen time. So no more of those girls talking to their girlfriends all day long and all night. You got to control that.
Yep.
And it looks like it's also looks like they've added NFC support. You should check that out. It looks like they finally are going to have on the fly without having to have a third party app. Maybe.
I mean, I know London Transit's doing something, but I'm not sure if that's using the NFC or not. London Transport is using I don't know. Express Pay is what they're doing, and I think that's using the NFC as well, which is kind of different than Apple Pay, I think. But yeah, I don't know how I would even try it out.
That's true, because you don't have you don't have it. So,
yeah.
Next topic I wanted to bring up was about smart HomeKit. Do you have a lot of stuff in your house with the HomeKit?
No.
Thermostats, lights, bulbs, any of that kind of stuff.
Just
I'm still looking into it.
I do, but they're all Amazon related stuff. I have maybe 2 or 3 things that are HomeKit. I have a August lock, which is HomeKit, which works pretty well. I have a switch that works, and that's it. The rest of the stuff is Amazon based stuff.
I'll link into the show notes a great article from iDrop News, and starting with where do you begin? Well, first thing is the HomePods. You can get a HomePod for, oh my God, it's so cheap. We forgot to mention that. They were selling HomePods for $200.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, I got mine for a great deal from what they're selling for now, so I really can't complain. One of the few times I can't complain after buying something and the price is going way down.
Yeah.
The HomePods were under $200, and again, that's the start of the smart home using that device. Which of course you can opt for Amazon. Amazon has some great Echo devices with the dots in the Amazon Echo, and don't say that a lady word, I'll be triggering it off. So
yeah, especially in my place.
The other thing was the lights and switches, which I haven't gotten into yet, but I guess you have to get some hubs, which I have not set up, but they do have the bulbs. And didn't you mention Ecobee? Elgato is great. The Eve Energy. I've got a few switches from them, which are working. That's what I have. Really, that's all my automation right now is I got about 4 or 5 switches around the house that I can control with the HomeKit, including the Christmas trees on one of them. So, and the cool thing is with HomeKit, you actually can set it up with timers. And so you can tell it to turn on at 5 o'clock and then shut off at 11 o'clock. And
yep.
I created and you also can create what's called scenes. Scenes, I created a scene where, since all these lights are on switches, when my cleaning ladies come on a Tuesday, they won't have to worry about the lights being on because I just created a scene. So then from early in the afternoon time they come in till late and later in the day, I can set that so the lights are on when they're here. Of course, they're going to go.
You could do great stuff with that, like with the lock I was telling you about, the August lock. You could,
which I need to get.
You could create a scene saying when somebody comes through the door, turn on the lights, things like that. Turn off the air conditioning. So once it's all tied together, it works great. It's just a problem that's been the problem since the beginning of all this stuff is the fragmentation between all the devices out there and between Amazon and Google and Apple having their own stuff. I mean, part of me thinks that these people would just make super amount of money if they all combined. Like I'm talking about like Apple, Amazon, and just created a consortium of like smart home, like and put it under a whole new brand and put it together. I think it would just they would create billions of dollars because right now it's almost like cutting the wire. It's just too fragmented, cutting the cable. There's just too many things to go through to try to get it all work. I mean, if I go on my phone, I look at my automation folder, there's like 9, 18. I got 20 apps just to control things. And
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Unfortunately, the doors that I want to install these smart locks on, I don't have a deadbolt on either door, so that makes it a little more challenging because then I have to get a deadbolt installed or get the deadbolt cut so this can be installed as a deadbolt. So there's my little challenge. So I'm gonna have to get that going because we really want to get these because they're so much easier than having to fumble. I'm always fumbling to get my key and. I think it's got to put this on one of my project lists to get this going because it's the smart locks and keypads. Is yours a keypad too?
Yeah, we have a optional keypad. You can buy the keypad for like $30 on there, and it works too. But as long as you have an iPad in the house or Apple TV, then you go, and an Apple Watch. Yeah. I do it all the time. I say, "Hey, S lady, open the front door," and before I even you could even set it up as a proximity. If it knows your iPhone is close to the house, it will unlock. I'm not quite ready for that. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment yet of opening my door, because it worries me a little bit. But other than that, it works great. I've had no problems with the August lock, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it looks like August has a thermostat too, but it's not yet compatible to. I'm sorry, doorbells. Oh, I missed doorbells. Yes. They have doorbells, but Ring and August aren't quite compatible with HomeKit just yet. Well, Ring, not surprising because it's owned by Amazon. So, but the thermostat is really one that I'm really interested in. And like Ecobee looks like is one of the ones that stands out. Of course, Nest is not supported by HomeKit because it's Google.
But even before that.
But you could keep going on and on. We can go through, and this article is great. Garage door openers, I'm interested in looking at that.
I got
unfortunately,
that. I have a MyQ. So I have a MyQ one, Chamberlain MyQ. And
Chamberlain, yep.
Yeah, you have to buy. They sell a separate thing to make it HomeKit compatible.
It says Homebridge, yeah.
It's a Homebridge, which I never bought because I don't have that much HomeKit stuff as it is. And they even had a weird thing where it used to work with Amazon, but then Amazon decided, or Chamberlain decided to be cheap and put it as a paid service to automate it, and people got mad about that. But to be honest with you, it's easy enough just to take my phone out and open up the MyQ app and just open up the garages. And the best part about those are it tells you if the garage doors are open or closed. And a lot of times you leave the house and did I close the garage? And now that's pretty much why I got it, to alleviate that. But if you have a garage, definitely I recommend the MyQ system.
Yeah, it looks like it's not. I mean, they're selling it on Amazon for $19.98. Is that right? The MyQ. It's the garage door opener. It says the garage door opener, but your garage door opener itself has to be compatible, right? The Chamberlain model.
There's two types. There's an add-on which you could do for non-compatible garages, and basically is a little puck that you stick on the back of your garage door that communicates with the Chamberlain.
Yeah, that's what this looks like.
So that's what this looks like. That's a cheap one, and then you can get an actual garage door opener that has a MyQ built in, and you don't have to buy anything for it, which is what I have too. So
yeah, I gotta look into this stuff. There's just some automation. The wife keeps telling me we got to get more automated in our house, and we just gotta do something to get these things automated. We'll link.
It's a pit.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
It's a pit.
It gets you quickly. So, but we'll have that shortcut's going to be that article is going to be in the topics section of our show notes. So let's dig into some tips. Any of these tips that have stand out to you? Do you want to grab one of them and go through it? The first one was how to mute email threads in iOS 13. Were you aware of that before? Of course, that link isn't working.
I don't see the link, but is it email threads or messaging threads?
It's here. The link is right in the show notes. It's right under the iDrop one. Do you see the iDrop one? It should be right there. There it is.
Yeah. Email. So I know you can mute messages. Obviously.
Yeah. This is muting annoying email threads in iOS 13.
Okay.
So if you've ever been part of an email thread, and the threads are such a pain in the butt. I don't like threads. I turn off threads. In fact, I don't like having, Microsoft in their infinite wisdom, they have emails through Outlook. You have the focused and other. So you have your focused mailbox where you focus things, and then other. So, but a lot of times, these messages come through. I just rather just read them all. But sometimes you're going to get threads, and threads. What you can do is you can go into, this is an advanced feature in Apple's Mail app.
Yeah, I see
it's hidden to mute an email thread. You just tap the arrow by viewing the thread, and then you can just tap mute, and then it'll just it'll ignore it. So you don't just, because you get tired of seeing these conversations. I'm sure you've been part of them many times as well as I have been. That's one of the good tips there, as far as muting messages in iOS 13's mail app.
Yeah, that I did not know. I knew obviously how to mute messages. If you just swipe to the left a little bit, it's the little mute thing. It's the one that everybody the hide alerts. If you swipe to the left, it says hide alerts. That's kind of how you mute the messages. Is for tech support people, that's the number one. When your mother calls you and says, "I'm not getting any of my messages from my friend."
Yeah,
I'm like, you muted it. Swipe to the left. It says, "No, I didn't do that." Yeah, you did. It happened. So cool. So that's a cool one.
And we talked about AirPods earlier, but did you know how you can find the serial number of your AirPods?
I do. I do. I'm looking now.
All right. So you can go in and actually go in and of course you can go inside your iPod's case. And good luck reading that. You better get the magnifying glass and then some, because it's under the top cover in the AirPods Pro case. On your iPhone, the way you can do it is you go into About under General, and then you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then you should see a selection called AirPods or AirPods Pro. And as soon as you tap that, it'll bring you over to the serial number and give you the serial number listed right there. You may need it for warranty. You may need it just so if there's a problem, it's easy to read them. Both the AirPods second gen and the first gen also have their own serial number, which is also printed. It's actually printed on the AirPod itself. It's like, good God, good luck seeing those. Those are going to be so small.
And something I just discovered is the AirPods have to be connected to the phone to do that. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
This is right. Yes, you can't just assume that it's going to pick it up. It has to be actually synced to your phone. Because you got to remember, the way the AirPods work is they connect through your iCloud account. So they will work with all your devices. So when I come to my Mac, I bring it up. That's how I'm using them right now as we do the show. But if I go to my iPhone and I go into the Bluetooth and I tap my AirPods Pro, it'll just change the sync from there to the iPhone. And same thing with my iPad and any other device that's Apple TV. It'll work with that too. So that's what's cool about the AirPods is the AirPods Pro is the fact that it sync across all of your Apple devices. Now you can sync these with other devices. You have to use the Bluetooth feature that's in the case. And we've talked about that before. So, all right, let's dig right into this other one here. This unexpected tip for extending battery life we found. And it actually works. You always hear this word tip. And this actually was in OS X Daily. I have a link on this in the show notes. What a surprise. The first thing that's going to save your battery life is dark mode. You use dark mode, right?
I have it set to automatic, but I did hear about this article before, and after I heard about that, I've done basically if you just also go ahead and do a black wallpaper. I'm not reading the article yet, but I don't know if that's part of the let's see if that's part of the article or not. But
it is.
It is okay. So if you do basically the blacker your screen is on the newer phones with the OLED screen, maybe even the other ones too, the less power it uses, because generally a black icon or screen means that the phone is not turning on a light on the phone, and the lights is what's causing the grain on the phone. So that's one thing I'm doing. What else is in there? Let's see. Is that most of it as far as
That's pretty much it. That's what people are surprised at, the fact that of all, one simple thing that would save battery life is dark mode. And believe me, I notice it. I'm sure you notice it on your 11 Pro Max as well as I do. I mean, I use the phone all day long, and let's see, where's my battery life today? 73%. Every time I come back around this time, that's still left on my battery after a day. and you can't beat with the dark mode. It really makes a huge difference. And I don't mind it. I really don't.
No, it looks good actually. At first, it was a little weird to me. I thought dark mode on the phone, it didn't look right, and on the computers, on the Mac with the Mojave when it came, it kind of looked a little strange to me. But I got used to it, and now I like it. But I think I have everything set to automatic. To be honest with you, so during the day it's light, and at night it's turns dark.
Yeah, I go dark all day.
There you go. Well, why not?
So let's move on and let's go some tips about Apple Watch. Now, we don't talk a lot about Apple Watch as we should. Here's some tips that I can give any Apple Watch owner as far as understanding. We talked about AirPods. Again, your Apple Watch. Your AirPods are also going to be synced to your Apple Watch, so you can download music onto your watch if you don't have the cellular version. Do you have the cellular version, or do you have the just the Wi-Fi only?
I have the Wi-Fi only on this one. I had cellular in my last one.
I find the cellular to be a waste of money, honestly.
Totally.
Because you and I are very much alike because we always have our phone with us. So
exactly.
iPhone, so.
And I don't think I don't know about you, but I don't jog and without my phone.
Well, that too.
I don't jog at all. So there you go. I don't run or jog.
Yeah.
So
with any Apple Watch that's running WatchOS 4.1 or higher, you actually can listen to albums and playlists that are created on your iPhone, because you can go into your iPhone's Watch app and actually set a station up, and it'll sync a lot of those songs so you can listen to it. So, and Apple Music for that matter, it does that as well. So if you are a subscriber to that, it will work, as well as it'll work with audio apps such as Spotify or Pandora or even iHeartRadio. And you want to make sure that you got your Bluetooth earbuds, and it's not just your app. If you don't have AirPods, you can have other Bluetooth AirPods, earbuds, or whatever you have, and even Bluetooth headphones will work as well. But those other music streaming services, you will have to download their app, and it's a little different, and you also have to pay for their subscription, pay a subscription for that as well. So, podcasts, you could do that as well. There is podcasts available through the podcast app, but that's new with Apple because that's Watch OS 5 or higher. There is another podcast that I've always recommended for listening with your Apple Watch. It's called Procast, and Procast is a app that will only work with the watch. It syncs your podcasts with the watch, and it lets you listen to your audio podcasts, to obviously be the most important ones to listen to. So, and other podcasting apps like Downcast and Overcast, Pocket Casts. There's all kinds of stuff. If anybody didn't know, I wrote an article for iPhone Life magazine about these podcasting apps. Still hasn't been linked out on their site yet, but I did talk about a lot of these apps, and I've talked about it lots of times before on the show. So, of course, workouts is. Go ahead.
Just keep in mind also is if you store music and also photos on your watch, it takes up space on the watch.
It does.
So I've never had a problem. I've never ever got a message on any of my watches saying that you're out of space. But I'm sure it could happen. I think every year they increase the storage a little bit, it seems. I think the 5 has 16 gig, I want to say, maybe.
I think it's something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't. It's not a huge deal, and your watch will continue to function. It will just tell you it doesn't have the space for it.
A couple other things I'll talk about. I'm not going to get through every detail of all these tips. Tracking your workouts, awesome. If you do a lot of workouts, again, you and I don't probably work out that often. It's good. This would be prominent to you or me. If that's available. Your heart rate monitor is amazing. I mean, I've talked about that before. Doing an ECG, I just can't believe it measures your heart rate just by touching touching the stem and saying, "Hey, here you go," and tells you if you have AFib or not, which is pretty amazing. Detecting a fall is a great feature for the iPhone, the Series 4 and the Series 5. I'm thrilled to say that we just bought a Series 4. Sam's Club had a great deal on the Series 4 watch, $340 for my mother-in-law. Never in a million years, she's over 70. Never in a million years you'd think somebody that's older who would, not too many people get into technology, but she's absolutely loving this watch, and she has it on her She has it on her wrist. Not only does she have the fall detection, which we turned on, it also has the fact that she can make phone calls and receive phone calls from the watch. So she's not scrambling to look for her iPhone when she's got it set down somewhere in the house. So she's got that too. So, and as well as you can call emergency services. I use it for Apple Pay. I don't know if you do. I just
all the time.
All the time. It's
Constantly.
so easy just to lift your wrist and pay.
Yep.
The walkie-talkie feature is interesting. That's an iOS 5 and higher. You could talk with another Apple Watch wearer through the walkie-talkie app.
Yeah.
Of course, Find My iPhone works, or Find My is what it's really called now. So it just keeps going on and on. So I just think this watch is going to continue to evolve and continue to give us some great features.
There's an article that just popped on 9 to 5 Mac. Florida man who had no idea what AFib was saved by Apple Watch during holiday travel.
I see those stories all the time. It's just amazing.
Yeah, like, the old me would have, I'm very cynical. I'd be like, nah, they're making this stuff up. But I believe it. I believe this kind of stuff happens, and I think that the Apple Watch has a good record of finding issues with people's health, and I think it's a great thing. And
Yep.
certainly Apple and Tim Cook is not shy about pointing that out whenever the Apple Watch saves a life.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's skip over here and we'll go through one more a few tips here. One of the tips here for an iPhone, how to switch to a 4-digit passcode on your iPhone or iPad. Do you have a 4 or 6-digit on yours?
I have 4. I don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can by default, Apple does set it so you have 6 digits. And I think that's probably safe. I have 6 digits. I think that's smart. So, if you want to switch it to a 4-digit passcode on the iPhone or the iPad, here's how you do it. You go into the settings app, you go into Face ID and passcode. Of course, if you don't have a 10 or higher, then it would be Touch ID. And you would enter the 6-digit code that you had already set up for there. And then you scroll down and you tap the change passcode option. Then from there, you enter the existing 6 digits to continue, and then you'll be prompted to enter a new passcode. But it'll also be a 6-digit code, so don't enter it. At the bottom of you'll see a passcodes option choice, and then you pick 4-digit numeric code, and there you go. You put 4 digits in. So I agree. I don't think it's a safe. You probably should have 6. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, you could even get crazier and do pick the alphanumeric option and do like a
That's true.
big long one. My wife, when she worked for a company that she doesn't work for anymore, made her do that, and it was really a pain in the butt. And then Touch ID and Face ID really kind of helped out because you barely need to do that anymore to authenticate. So when Touch ID became a thing and Face ID is a thing, the 6-digit passwords and the alphanumeric password is not that big of a deal anymore because a lot of times you don't even need to put it in. So I think you inspired me. I'm gonna work on doing that.
Have I done that? I think it's not the first time I've done that for you.
I mean, it's something. It's something that I actually I had a client today that I fixed her computer, and we talked about it, and I'm like, she's asking me advice about passwords, and I'm like, well, I'm not the right person to talk to because I don't practice what I preach. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but you got to preach it. That's what your work is, man.
You gotta make them think.
So let's dig into some apps. We've really covered all the spectrum here for this show. This is everything that we always talk about here on this show. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was instead of us having picks for apps, we're actually going to talk about some stories that happened on apps. The first one which was actually kind of funny. Craigslist. Everybody's used Craigslist, right? I'm sure you've used Craigslist. I've sold stuff on Craigslist. I've bought stuff on Craigslist. And Craigslist never had its own app. Never.
Nope.
Until now, because you always had third-party apps. There was a lot of good third-party apps out there too. It only took them 11 years to finally make their own iOS app. So we have a link to an article in Engadget about this, and being around, being that the App Store has been around for 11 years, they never had their own app, but now they do. So it's a free app, and you can post, you can edit, you can do classified ads, relatively easy. I'm not going to say it's perfect. I haven't had a chance to play with it too much, but because the third-party apps were real good replacements. But what do you think about this?
I actually haven't downloaded it yet, but I will. I do go on Craigslist. There's a gig section and there's a computer gig section. And as an IT consultant, it's sometimes, not often, very rarely actually, but there might be somebody looking for, hey, I need help, doing this or that. I'll pay you something, and I'll go there and do it. So I definitely use Craigslist, and I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, I haven't used it in quite a while, honestly.
Yeah.
And then let's also talk about Apple. Just had they had this big event. Didn't they have a big event last week?
Well, it was in
somebody's.
Yeah.
It was in somebody's house, or was it somebody's condo, or it wasn't even any place that was anywhere near the Apple normally does. But it was the best of 2019, which included music and apps. Well, in this case, we're going to talk about the apps. There was a lot of best of apps this year. And a few of these apps I've tried before, and a lot of these apps I haven't. We have a link in the show notes to Mac Rumors that has a whole long list here. A couple that stood out to me. I'm not a gamer, so I'm not really going to bring it up. But the Spectra camera by Lux Optics is a pretty amazing app for camera app of the year, and that's one to check out. And then the other one that was out for iPad was the app of the year, which was called Flow. I don't even know what this is. Do you?
Nope.
Oh, it's a sketching. That's right. It's a sketching app. I remember this. Yeah. So it's Flow by Moleskine, and it's sketching, thinking, creating, and it's actually not that terribly expensive. I think it's actually it's free. It's probably with in-app purchase. Some of the games that were out there, I'll mention them. Sky, Children of the Light, that was an iPhone game of the year. iPad game of the year was Hyper Light Drifter. The Mac, I won't go to Macs here, but Apple TV had some apps as well. So that kind of stood out. The Explorers by Explorers Network, $4.99. And then Wonder Boy, The Dragon Trap was the Apple TV game of the year. Woohoo!
I never heard of actually any of them, to be honest with you.
I hadn't either, so that's why I say it's pretty amazing that these apps were as popular as we thought they were.
What I did like though is how they had a separate category for our Apple Arcade Game of the Year, because they would have got scrutinized if they didn't, and they picked an Apple Arcade game as the game of the year, because people are going to say, duh, it's, because you're promoting Apple Arcade and blah, blah, blah. So it's actually cool that they made it a separate category.
Did you, are you still subscribing? Did you subscribe to Apple Arcade or no?
No, I just got the free trial, and I did not renew that one.
Same here. Yeah. I'm not a gamer. Just not a gamer.
Nope, same here. I played, I played a few of them. The Frogger game was kind of fun for a while, but,
Ho-hum.
Yeah, I have problems. I do a lot better with the very quick games that, the more the Candy Crush type games, I guess. But, the ones that I could play for 5 minutes or 5 hours, it doesn't matter how much you play, So, a lot of the games on the Apple Arcade were elaborate, which is nice if you're into it. But, it's almost too elaborate for me.
And then lastly, we'll talk about this is actually in Apple's newsroom. I think it was today as we record this. Yes, it was. The Clips app. Have you used the Clips app before?
Yeah, when it first came out.
It's a lot of fun, actually. They added some new updates to Clips. It's the video creation app for iPhone or iPad, and allows you to really get into some creativity with things. So what they've done is they've now are allowing you to be able to use animojis and emojis and memojis and be able to be even more creative. They've added some. This is Clips version 2.1, including the animated stickers, which is pretty popular right now. Again, I guess I'm getting old. They don't do this stuff anymore, I guess. They have a Let It Snow poster that you can beautifully capture the feeling of winter weather for this time of year. 7 new Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse stickers. It's a cool app. I like it. It's absolutely free, which is great. Works with all the iOS devices, iPhone and iPad. Go ahead and check it out. We have a link for that in the show notes. This is actually in Apple's newsroom section of their website today. So, anything else? Boy, we talked about a lot today.
We did. There's a lot. I mean, for quiet. I mean, typically between Thanksgiving and Christmas is quiet. So I think it's going to be a little quieter over the next few weeks. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on this week.
Well, with Christmas coming up, we're going to help you use your brand new iPhones or iPads that you get over Christmas holidays. So you can stay tuned for many more tips that we're talking about. So we'll continue on with these great tips. So let's wrap this up. And Warren, tell people how they can get a hold of you.
Sure. Best way is over Facebook. I know a lot of people don't like to use Facebook, but I do. So there you go. But if you go into Facebook, there's a Mac to the Future Facebook page, which are in the show notes. And it's just kind of mostly talk about Apple stuff, but we'll stray into non-Apple tech here and there. More or less just a kind of a place to chat and talk tech than it is anything else. But it's a great group, and we invite you there. Other than that, I do at W Sklar is Twitter and Instagram. If you need to get hold of me, if you want to tweet me there. Not there's no animals in that name, so we can't do any kind of animal jokes. But there you go.
Yeah, not for Guy, like Mac Parrot. So I had to do it last night during Back to the Future. You missed it. So anyway, that's another story. Let's wrap it up for this week. Thanks, and that's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios. You can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and iHeartRadio. Or better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. Thanks, Warren, as always, for being here.
Thank you. Again.
And thank you for listening, and we will talk to you again soon.